to Menopause Morph, your time to change. We're here to help you thrive through your menopause, bringing you experts in many fields to help you from perimenopause to menopause and beyond to become the strong, vibrant woman nature intended you to be. Hosted by Pauline McCarthy of the Pearls of Pauline, pearls of wisdom, compassion, and joy.
Hello, welcome to today's Menopause Morph podcast. Today's lovely guest is Robin Strigley. She is the Hormone Diva, a woman's holistic health coach. Robin's own journey with polycystic ovarian syndrome, PCOS, jump-started her passion for helping women replace their anxieties with joy to open possibilities in their lives and break free of hormonal imbalance. Robin is the health writer for her local Buzz magazine, is a regular contributor to BePreparedPeriod.com and is featured on Mind Body Green. So welcome to Menopause Morph, Robin. Wonderful to see you, hear you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
So I was very, inspired to see such a lovely young lady, so much interested in menopause. So what got you interested in hormone? Of course, it was your polycystic ovarian syndrome. And would you be okay to talk about that, to tell our listeners your journey?
Yeah, for sure. I'll share a little bit about my story. So throughout my life, I've always kind of been interested in health and cooking and food and all of that kind of stuff. And I realized that I wanted to do this professionally. So while I was in school for nutrition, I learned about the negative effects of the birth control pill. So I decided to stop taking the birth control pill after about 7 years or so. And that's sort of when I discovered all of my symptoms and eventually was diagnosed with a PCOS. And that's just characterized by, infertility, cysts on the ovaries, excess testosterone, weight gain, and a whole long list of other things. And I wasn't satisfied with what the doctors were telling me about solutions. So they were telling me to go back on the birth control pill or take other kinds of medications and different things like that. And I said, well, that's not at all what I want to do. I want to be able to help myself naturally. I want to be able to thrive through natural methods. And these kind of methods have been used for thousands of years. There's no reason to use the medical if you can get the same results from something that's natural, right? So that really sort of started my interest in the women's health kind of thing. And the more that I started to help women in this area, the more women going through menopause that were attracted to my business. So actually, I deal a lot in menopause, and I find it really rewarding because, when you and I were chatting earlier, we were talking about women going through menopause, maybe wanting to change their life direction a little bit, maybe change a job, start a business or whatever. And this sort of mindset change also brings to their attention the quality of their health. And so that's sort of what brings them to try and figure out some natural methods. And I get so much happiness and joy and satisfaction in assisting with that.
That's great. And so you've got a lot of experience then working with menopausal women. And what are some common misconceptions about menopause?
Well, there's lots and lots of them, but I just want to talk about maybe two of the main ones. And the first one is that many women believe that menopause is something where they are going to suffer, sort of 100% chance guarantee that they're going to suffer during menopause, right? And unfortunately, that is a misconception because it's not normal to be suffering during menopause. And so if you are having extremely bothersome symptoms where it's really interrupting your daily life, then it's something definitely to look at. It's not just, a rite of passage or something like that. So that would definitely be the first misconception. And then the second one really has to do with the sort of length of time or what they believe menopause to be. Menopause essentially is just not having your menstrual period for 12 months. So that's once you've had that happen, then your menopause, that's it, that's over, that's done. But a lot of women believe that it continues. It's a little bit the same, but our hormones change once we've stopped that period for 12 months and they really start to go lower. And this is actually considered post-menopause. And then the women who are maybe getting their periods, irregularly now, they're sort of heading in the direction of menopause. They believe they're in menopause, but it's actually perimenopause. So there's some differences there, and knowing the differences and the different types of symptoms that might happen in these different phases is really helpful for, figuring out these natural solutions and figuring out how you can get back to really feeling like yourself again.
One of the misconceptions I had was the age that you can get menopause. And what do you advise women? When should they start? When is it normal to start having menopausal symptoms, perimenopausal symptoms?
Those kind of symptoms can start as early as 40 for some women, but most women between 45 and 55 is sort of when they're going to start experiencing this. And then usually once they've hit, 50 or a little over, they might actually go into menopause. But it really just depends on, when they first had their period when they were a kid, and their, fertility history, and who knows what else, family history, genetic components to it as well. So, but, that 45 to 55 range is kind of where you usually are.
Yeah. And I know there are some women who have what we call surgical menopause, if they have cancer or, cancer with chemical treatment or just... Yes, I know some women, they have going to early menopause because of they have their ovaries removed or, chemicals in menopause. And that is very extreme for those ladies, unfortunately. So thankfully, most of us don't have that terrible cut off. It is a gradual process. I think a lot of women don't realise that it is a gradual process.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
But the biggest question I get is, when will it end?
Yeah, exactly. Right. And the majority, if you are having bothersome symptoms, once that period stops after 12 months, if you're still having those symptoms, then, it's definitely something to look at, because it should end. You don't have to deal with this all the time.
Yeah. So exactly. So you were saying it's 12 months after, after you're officially postmenopausal. So why is it so important to balance hormones during the menopause if our periods have stopped, if they've gone?
It's very important to look after our hormones, even if your period is gone. And although you might think that the hormones are gone for good and it's something that you don't have in your body or don't need to think about anymore, the opposite is actually true. A lot of women still experience the bothersome menopausal symptoms like night sweats, hot flashes, low libido, all of that kind of stuff after menopause. Yes, and it's something to pay attention to. And the reason for that is when we have our periods, our ovaries are what make our sex hormones, right? Once we enter menopause, our stress managing glands, called the adrenals, they just sit on our kidneys. They're tiny little glands. They take over sex hormone production. So not only do they make our stress hormones, but they also make our sex hormones like estrogen. So if you're somebody who works a lot, is chronically stressed, maybe having some kind of negative life situations happening, any of that kind of stuff, your body is going to put more priority onto these stress hormones rather than making your sex hormones. And so that's going to continue this imbalance. And I see this all the time. So, but it's definitely something that can be helped if you are looking to balance your hormones.
So now I know when I'm really stressed out, that's when I get more hot flashes.
Yeah.
That's good to know. I'm going to do meditation and breathing more.
Yes.
So, talking about meditation and breathing and stuff like that, when do you think women should start thinking about using holistic health interventions, and not just the medical things that the doctor gives you, but, the holistic things in general?
Right now would be my short answer.
Yesterday.
Yes, yesterday. So, and the reason for this is whether you're having, whether you're in menopause or you're younger or you're older or you have really bothersome symptoms, or maybe it's just like a couple little niggly things that kind of bother you every once in a while, I would really start thinking about holistic interventions, not only because they'll help whatever you're dealing with now physically, but they'll also help you mentally and emotionally as well. So you'll deal with stress better. So again, coming back to that meditation thing we were just talking about, and diet plays a big role here as well. And also thinking about holistic health interventions to help prevent things that might happen later on. So a lot of women who've gone through menopause get lowered bone density, and maybe they get osteoporosis or possibly heart disease or diabetes and that kind of thing. So just because, you think that your hormones are done with, although we just mentioned that they're not quite done, it's important to continue thinking about your health, because what you do to your body now will impact you not only right now, but also the rest of your life into the future.
Mm-hmm. And so you were talking there about things that, changing their eating habits. So what kind of foods would you advise people, women, And their husbands as well, I suppose,
Yes.
What kind of foods would you advise women that are going through menopause to eat that would reduce their symptoms?
I'll just talk about 3 briefly. So that can sort of help with a multitude of symptoms, which makes them really exciting. And the first one is pomegranates. Pomegranates actually, is an interesting one that you might not think about. And whether, obviously better to do the fresh fruit, but of course the juice is fine as well. And pomegranates have actually been shown to help increase low estrogen, which is something that a lot of women in menopause are dealing with because their adrenal glands aren't able to make enough estrogen and stress hormones. So eating pomegranate can help to increase this estrogen and therefore restoring your sex drive if you have a low or non-existent libido. Also helpful for hot flashes and all of that kind of stuff. Dry skin, stiff joints. So pomegranate is really great. You can use those in smoothies. You can eat it out of hand. You can drink the juice, whatever you like.
And how many are we talking a day? Just one a day, or one every second day, or 5 in a day?
Well, pomegranate, I don't know. Have you ever used the fresh fruit? There's little
yes,
seeds.
these little seeds. I have actually got one on the table upstairs.
Yeah. So as far as the amount of those little seeds that you might be eating, if you're going to have it, every day or so, maybe a quarter to a half a cup of them or whatever, just to help bring that up a little bit. And if you include some of the other foods we're going to talk about as well, just sort of in your daily rotation, make these things a part of your life, right? And then that's when you'll really reap the benefits from them.
Sprinkle it in a salad or something like that.
Exactly. There's so many good uses for them. I love pomegranates.
Yeah.
And then another food that we could talk about is sunflower seeds.
Okay.
So sunflower seeds are really fantastic. They're super, super powerhouse for nutrients because they've got healthy proteins, healthy fats that are all important for hormone production. But the main star with the sunflower seeds is that they're very high in vitamin E. And vitamin E is a very essential nutrient for women going through menopause. It is one of the most fantastic ways to help with hot flashes and night sweats. Also helpful for any of that kind of achy or stiff joints that some women get in menopause, dry skin, or premature, wrinkling or aging or sagging of the skin. Vitamin E is very helpful. So sunflower seeds are really great. Just, eat a small handful of those as a snack every day, or throw them on salads or whatever you want to do. Yeah, and they can be, a really delicious addition to your diet as well. And then the last food I guess I'll mention is another seed actually, and that's flax seeds. Flax seeds seem to be pretty popular these days for women with any kind of hormonal imbalance. And the reason for this is that they contain something called phytoestrogens. And basically what this means is that it's just a plant-based estrogen. And it's a healthy way for women, especially in menopause, who may have low estrogen levels causing their symptoms, to just gently help your body raise the estrogen. So it's not at all the same as taking like hormone replacement therapy, where you're physically taking a hormone by a pill or whatever on a daily basis, whereas this just helps your body to do it on its own. So flax seeds can be really helpful and also very good. They're high in omega-3s, so great for those mood issues that you might have in menopause, like if you're experiencing irritability or depression or anxiety, any of those kind of mood swing kind of stuff. Flax seeds are very helpful for that as well.
Yeah, I've actually been using flaxseed oil for about a year now, and it really helped me a lot. And here in Iceland, when you go into the pharmacy or the health food store, they are in the fridge. But one time I was visiting friends in England, and I went to a health food store there, and they were just on the shelf. And I said to them, I think there's a mistake here. I think this is an oil. It should be kept cold because it can go rancid. And they said, oh, we sell lots of it. And I said, but are you... And it was very much cheaper than in Iceland, Everything in Iceland is just super expensive. So anyway, I bought 3 bottles, big bottles, and I took them in my luggage home. And then when I drank it, when I got home, oh my goodness, it was so disgusting. It was unbelievable. Yeah. Because it had gone off, And not saying that I'm a Scot or anything, but I found another use for it. Not going to throw it out. So I used it for my oil painting. There's always a recycle.
Yeah.
And so I think that's
so
important,
right.
Keep it Refrigerated, yeah.
Yes. Keep it in the fridge. Even if you use the whole flax seeds or you buy them pre-ground, store them in the fridge because like you said, what's contained in them, those omega-3 oils go rancid super quickly through light, through heat, and through air as well. So keeping those in the freezer or the fridge is a good option.
Right. Sometimes we're having hot flushes. We're in the fridge as well.
Yes.
And menopause and forgetfulness, we forget to take them, so when we open the fridge to cool down, the flax seeds, yes,
there it is.
To take them. Yes. 2 in 1. A bonus.
Yes.
So are there any other natural supplements or things like that you would recommend that would help women with their symptoms? Because I'm always looking for everything that I can get. I think you were mentioning, like, one thing works for one woman but not for another, and often if we take a combination of different things, it works even better. So I'm dying to hear what you're going to share with us.
Yes, absolutely. Combinations do work better, and it can be difficult to figure out what to take because there's so many things on the market. But for most women that I help anyway with menopause, some of the few basic things usually make a huge impact, and then maybe you might need to tweak things here or there. But I'll share 2 of them with you today. So the first one is actually to take vitamin E as a supplement. So if you get vitamin E soft gel, so it shouldn't be a capsule with powder. It should be vitamin E like oil in a capsule or in a soft gel, and that tends to work a lot better than the sort of powdered vitamin E in a capsule. And vitamin E, as we were talking about with the sunflower seeds, is so important for women who are experiencing hot flashes, night sweats, possibly some skin problems or achy joints, low libido, all of that kind of stuff, even low energy and that kind of brain fog stuff that some women get as well. Vitamin E is so good for this. And just even doing, like, for the dosing, 400 international units a day, starting with that, is usually good for a lot of women. And you'll find huge differences, especially in temperature control and skin first, and then you'll notice some other things later on. But that would definitely be one for any woman who's having bothersome menopause to get right on that right away for sure.
I'll be running out to the shop.
And then the other thing I'm going to talk about is medicinal herbs. So herbal medicine has been used for thousands of years, probably even longer than that. Really, sort of the first kind of medicine we ever had was herbs and things that we pulled from the earth. And they are super effective in helping with any kind of symptoms that you might be experiencing with menopause. It's just knowing sort of which ones to choose. And there are a lot of them. So if you want to do medicinal herbs for your menopause, I highly recommend either finding a pre-made herbal formula of some kind or consulting a health practitioner who's familiar with this. For myself, in order to help more women who are dealing with hot flashes and night sweats specifically, I've actually developed a medicinal herb tea that they can drink for hot flashes. So that's something that you can do as well. That's got a combination of herbs that's directly targeted for that. And of course, will have benefits of helping all the other menopausal symptoms that you might be having as well. But the hot flash tea can be made iced as well, because a lot of women who are having hot flashes don't necessarily want a hot drink, but it tastes great iced, and it's very effective in helping to balance the hormones, to calm the mood, calm the brain, and get rid of those pesky hot flashes that are making you sort of strip on and off all day.
So what kind of herbs? In Britain, we say herbs, but in America, we say herbs,
Yes.
So what kind of herbs are in this mix?
So there's 6 different herbs actually that I've put into this formula. I won't really go into too much detail about them because there's a lot you could say about it. But anyway, so Vitex, or you might have heard of it called chase tree berry, that's in it. Motherwort, a really important herb for menopause. Black cohosh, which is very exciting for menopause. A lot of women have taken this to help with their menopausal symptoms. Maybe they've taken it on its own. Red clover as well, which is fantastic for hot flashes. It's also very good for mood and your skin as well. So if you have any kind of skin inflammation that's sort of come up as you're going through menopause, the red clover in there is helpful as well. I'm not sure how many of the 6 that I said out of there, but that's the majority.
Okay, I think the first 3 you mentioned that I have never heard of, so that's really interesting. And I have a question. Do you know anything that can cure liver spots? Because just before I came for this interview, I was, putting on my lipstick, and I noticed I'm getting a liver spot here. I have one here at my neck, and this happened. Sometimes I dye my hair, keep it looking youthful. And I thought some of the hair dye had got on my neck, and I thought it was just that, but it was still there like 6 months later. I thought, well, that's my hair dye doesn't last that long, And yesterday I noticed one here, so this is just off the cuff, which I haven't asked you or prepared you for or anything. But it's just me wanting to be looking fabulous as normal, without a big liver spot here. So have you ever heard of anything that would help with that?
Well, with the liver spots, it's much more effective to get rid of them if you look internally. So doing something internally to help your body's detoxification system through the liver. So anything you can do to support the liver. Drinking milk thistle tea might be helpful over time, or dandelion root tea, or you can take these as capsules or whatever you want to, these herbs. But anything to help sort of assist your liver in detoxifying will help to get rid of those spots. And then if you wanted to do something topically, you could do vitamin E on the skin, or a combination skin oil with like vitamin E. Some of them have vitamin C in there as well, which is very good. Rose hip seed oil is fantastic as well. But really liver spots, you'll get the best results and much faster if you do something to support your liver.
Okay. Yeah, I used to, one of the specialists that I was interviewing, he recommended this liver pill mixture of herbal stuff, and I was taking it faithfully until the packet ran out. And then with my menopausal forgetfulness, I would forget to put them. And I was looking at my I've got this, these things, you take your medicine every day, and I've got some medicines that I take for some illness, but most of it is just supplements, and I'm thinking they look less than what they used to be, but I couldn't remember which ones.
Yeah, so in regards to the liver, it takes quite a while if you're trying to do anything to sort of help or rebuild your liver, and the skin as well. Our skin actually has a sort of 90-day cycle that it goes through our skin cells, so it can take at least 90 days for you to really notice a difference when you're trying to help skin issues like that. So just keep persistent. It will help over time.
Okay, great. Lovely, because it just looks like a big thumbprint, like I've been sitting like that, because I tend to do that when I, over my hand when I'm listening to somebody. It's like,
cover it up.
Great. So these herbal teas, I love the way it's said, herbal teas. They sound really interesting and delicious, actually. So if I or any of the readers wanted to get hold of some of these, how could we get them? Where do we get them?
So you can just go for the hot flash tea specifically. You can just go to www.thehormonediva.com/hotflash, and that'll take you right there. There's different sizes of it. You can see all the benefits as well as all of the ingredients and directions for use. We also provide information so that you know how to make it into an iced tea if you like, or a hot tea, of course. But just going to thehormonediva.com/hotflash and you'll find the teas.
Okay, I'm really looking forward to that. I'm a bit of a tea, in Britain we call it tea Jenny. It's like you open my cupboard, I've got like 30 different types of tea.
Oh yeah, I'm the same. I'm a huge tea junkie, huge. And that's really what made me want to, make these teas for people, because I know that medicinal herbs are helpful. Teas are really awesome to drink, and it's all this, experience too. When you have a nice cup of tea, you feel relaxed, you feel happy, and that will go along with the medicinal benefits and really making you feel better.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So Robin, I'm really, really grateful that you came on today, and I've learned a lot. I'm sure our listeners have too. So I really want to thank you for coming. And if I have any other questions, can I call you back again another time?
Of course. I had a great time. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, thank you very much. And as a legal note, we have to tell you that we're not giving out any medical advice here today. Please consult your medical practitioner before you implement any of the things you've heard on Menopause Morph. So do your due diligence and find out what works best for you. See you next week. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Menopause Morph, your time to change. If you've enjoyed the program, be sure to subscribe to the next one, and please leave a rating and review on iTunes to help us spread the message about thriving through the menopause. To get a free ebook, more menopausal resources, and to connect with Pauline, please visit www.menopausemorph.com.